open session. Our first item is Pledge of Allegiance by Lucy Davis, Paris Middle School student.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
Thank you very much. We just came out of closed session. The board received information and direction was given to staff on a few items. One of the items will be voted on in 12.6 later in the meeting. And also I'd like to report that the Board of Education has completed the Superintendent of Schools evaluation. Dr. Keller has received an above average evaluation from the entire board and is therefore granted the next salary step per the contract. So now approval of the minutes of the September 24th, 2019 Board of Education meeting. Motion and second?
So moved. Second.
Student advisory vote?
Aye.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous. The meeting was open at 5:02. Motion by Brad Serkin, seconded by David Whitkin. Which now brings us to reports to the board. Paris Middle School presentation, Jonathan Erickson.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jonathan Erickson, very proud principal of Paris Middle School. So addressing the board, Board President Brad Waller, Board Vice President Brad Serkin, Board Presiding Officer Raymer Flynn, Board members Michael Christensen and David Whitkin, Superintendent of Schools Dr. Stephen Keller, Assistant Superintendents, Deputy Superintendent, and the enigmatic Ricardo Gallegos. We're very excited to be here tonight to present to you guys our mock trial team. So they've been working very hard, and I won't take up too much more of your time. I'll start with Mr. Smith, one of our lead teachers. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for having us here tonight. What you're about to see is going to be our rendition, an abbreviated rendition of the 2019 mock trial case, the People v. Matsumoto. Our team has been around for about 5 years now, and this year, due to a lot of motivated students, we've doubled in size in 1 year. And this club has grown dramatically. We start competing at the local county level, and as they progress, they can go to the state level, and in high school, they can even go to the national level. So I'm going to introduce my colleague, Janet Barker, who can tell you a little bit more about what our former students have done once moving on to the high school level.
Yes, so thanks a lot for having us here today. So the students behind us, and also Mrs. Young back here, she's a retired teacher who introduced the program to Paris Middle School 5 years ago. We've had such success with the program that, as Mr. Smith just said, we've grown it now double the size. Our success is also measured by the students who move on and go to high school, and they're involved in the mock trial program, kind of excluding other possibilities of electives because they're so madly intense about this program. One of our students who was a STEM, really an awesome STEM student, she made a decision after she was involved in the program in middle school. And by the way, we have high schoolers who come back twice a week to help our students. They're so committed to the program. We actually had a student last year who fought to get a little tiny bit of funding to help support the program. And so we had it as a result of her. Anyway, this one student has now decided to dedicate her whole entire life to becoming an attorney. So it really does change lives. We are getting close to the opening day, which is November the 6th. So we're still in hot pursuit of excellence. And I think that you're going to enjoy our presentation.
Start that way, at least. We have to get both sides.
brutally murdered her spouse, Taylor Matsumoto, in cold blood. Bailey owns an autonomous truck startup. Then after the tragic death of Taylor's son, Michael, in an autonomous scooter accident, Taylor became an activist against AI vehicles. Bailey quickly began to lose money. On June 10th, Taylor was set to testify in Capitol Hill against autonomous technologies. So on the 7th, Bailey, fearing the loss of all of her money, pushed Taylor into a bathtub where Taylor drowned. The evidence you will see today will prove beyond any doubt that Bailey is guilty of murder.
We would like to call our first witness to the stand. Please state your name. I'm David Matsumoto. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you you? I do. You may be seated. I'm Rebecca Bell and David Matsumoto.
Good evening, Ms. Matsumoto. Could you tell us what happened on June 7th?
I had an argument with Taylor because Taylor wanted to spend the next day in Washington, D.C. testifying against autonomous technologies, even though we had a very important investor meeting for the startup the next day.
And what did Taylor do later that day?
Taylor proceeded to go to a hidden meeting for her own startup for parents against autonomous driving.
Where did you go after Taylor left the house?
I went to go buy roses and champagne.
And what were you planning on doing with this rose and champagne?
I felt bad for our earlier argument, so I was going to make it up to Taylor with a rose-petal bath and champagne.
What do you remember from when Taylor was in the car?
I heard a crashing noise and later found out that Taylor had knocked over a vase.
Did Taylor ever see the bath that you had made?
I went to go check on Taylor, and Taylor was still fully clothed. And before I could say anything, Taylor screamed at me to get out, so I left.
What do you remember from the morning of June 8th?
I remember Desi in my room telling me that Taylor was dead and devastated.
Thank you, Ms. Matsumoto. No further questions.
Good evening, Ms. Matsumoto. So you were angry that Taylor created Parents Against Autonomous Driving.
Yes.
Why did Taylor create Parents Against Autonomous Driving?
Taylor created the startup because Taylor needed something to put with Michael's death.
Now, you've had many failures in your life. You failed in the film industry, your marriage was failing, and your business was failing. And even your own negligence led to the death of Taylor's son, Michael. And how angry does that make you?
Very.
So, did it make you mad that Taylor blamed you for Michael's death?
Yes.
And was all your money invested in your business?
Yes.
So, and were you mad that Taylor was going to Washington, D.C. to testify against autonomous technologies?
Although I was frustrated with Taylor's decision, I still respected it.
So how would a ban on autonomous technologies affect your life?
I would become bankrupt.
On grand June 7th, you knew that Taylor returned home drunk.
Yes.
Did that make you mad?
Yes.
And earlier that day you had an argument, is that correct?
Yeah.
Didn't you mention divorce in that argument?
Yes.
So if you were to get divorced, you would end up bankrupt and alone.
Yes.
So how angry would that make you?
Extremely.
Thank you, no further questions.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we have reviewed the case of the people v. Matsumoto. From the evidence presented tonight, you have seen the truth of the case. Bailey Matsumoto brutally murdered her spouse Taylor on the night of June 7th. Taylor, days before her death, was supposed to testify against Bailey's company, guaranteeing financial ruin for her spouse. With their relationship on the brink of divorce and all of Bailey's money at stake, Bailey knocked Taylor into the bathtub, killing her and leaving her to drown. With all of the facts in order, it is only right to declare Bailey Matsumoto guilty of murder. Thank you.
Your Honor, members of the jury, you have now seen and heard Bailey Matsumoto is guilty of murdering her own spouse, Taylor. She's told us that though she may not agree with what Taylor is doing, she fully respects Taylor. And that the bath and champagne were prepared as an apology to make up for an argument they had earlier that day. Your Honor, members of the jury, the rest of Bailey Matsumoto's life rests in your hands, based on the decision that you will now make. And I urge you that you acquit the defendant as not guilty. Thank you.
Okay, we will now ask for your votes.
We don't have to go deliberate?
We don't have time for that, unfortunately. It appears the defendant would walk, right, because of a hung jury. So thank you, guys.
I was just going to say one thing. These students are working really hard. They put in a lot of hours, and also the teachers as well. We're putting in a lot of hours to help our district be proud of them. I can tell you're already really proud, just as we are proud of them as well. And so we're going to be doing a lot of coaching and a lot of working on this to get us ready for the November 6th. Great event. We have middle school students from throughout the country. We're competing against charter schools, which devote a whole class to this. So they're putting in these extra hours on their own time. And I don't think we've mentioned this, but they do present in front of a judge, an official judge, down at Superior Court in Los Angeles. So it's a really big deal. So thank you very much.
And I also wanted to thank Ms. Diane Young, who no longer works with us, but as well too. Would you guys like to do you have any questions for them, or?
I'll just say something quick. I think I'm a little biased in this because I'm actually playing Bailey Matsumoto in the real trial at the high school. So maybe I don't have the best opinion, but it's being in mock trial for the past 4 years, the kids that Paris produces, you guys are just phenomenal. And when you guys get to the high school, you guys outperform everyone else who joins the program. So you guys are on really good start right now. So I'll be glad to hopefully see you guys next year at the high school.
And would each of the students like to introduce themselves and any people they brought along with them?
Hello, I'm Lisa Davis. I'm on the prosecution team. I'm Avery Camp, and I am on the defense team.
I'm Wyatt Lee, and I'm on the prosecution team. I'm Bo Nell, and I'm on the prosecution team.
I'm Rebecca Fung, and I'm on the defense team. I'm Tara Holmes. Today I played bailiff, but I am a defense witness.
And also, we do have some team members who are in the audience to show support tonight, so if they'd like to stand up and introduce themselves.
Yes,
as well.
please.
You can introduce yourself.
I'm Madeline Fairman. I play defense attorneys.
My name is Tom Kennedy, and I play defense attorney.
Pictures. So we'll come around here. You guys stand with us. Nice job, you guys. Very nice.
You guys take like 3 steps forward because we're going to be behind you.
So yeah, we can stand. That's not like a pro volleyball team we're working.
obviously found dead in the bathroom. He was just drunk and she and took a bath and like didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Those of you who voted guilty, I don't know,
I don't think so.
based on that evidence, there was not enough evidence to go one way or the other.
Yeah.
You're looking for evidence.
Yes, but there wasn't enough evidence to
Circumstantial
find
evidence
guilt there.
I was waiting.
That was circumstantial at best.
I was waiting for the forensics report.
Yeah, what do we feel about Steve?
Yeah, we should have kept those cards.
Yeah, I know, really. That's our new evaluation tool. You come up, what do we feel?
All right, well, that was very entertaining. Next up, a student board member report by Sergio Godinez.
Yeah, I'll keep it really short. So this Friday we have our senior recognition night where we honor all our football athletes, our dance guard, our cheer team, and our athletic trainers for all the hard work they've done in the fall sports. So that starts around 5:30, right before the last home game of the year. And then we have the blood drive coming up on November 4th where we're partnering with UCLA. So our goal is to reach 250 donors. So we're almost there. So if you guys would like to sign up, you guys just have to show up at November 4th. I think it's from 7 to 11:30 in the morning. So you guys show up, we'll get you guys to the front of the line. And besides that, I'm going to start working on starting up the Young Leaders this year. So we have our first meeting, I believe, November 13th is when I have it scheduled. So more information to come with that.
Sounds good, and I will be there early in the morning on the 4th, is my plan. Dr. Keller.
Sketchers Walk on Sunday. I know RBF is here. Right now, I think we're still in the lead for South Bay districts, and I hope we can remain in that spot. That would be a coup for us to win this. Obviously, RBF is here again for the golf tournament that's coming Monday, November 4th. I'm sure they'll talk about that. Partners in Education, want to thank everybody, Anthony Toronto, Dr. Toronto included. The turnout was more impressive than we even thought. Everybody involved, and Mr. Winkler was the proud recipient of the Male Administrator Dessert Award, so congratulations to Jefferson. That's twice he's won that, and we'll never hear the end of it. The 33rd District event for Presidents and Administrators Conference is in Carson on November 7th. Our very own Chief Keith Kaufman will be presenting there about all the activities we have collaborated with over the years, so I know a lot of us will be attending that. Just want a reminder, and I hope I got this right, Friday, November 1st is the date of the non-student day, correct, Dr. Alpern, right? I sometimes get the dates wrong. And then Monday, November 11th, obviously is Veterans Day. Both days, no school for kids. And then obviously have a fun and safe Halloween.
All right. So, this brings us to our hearing section. Members of the audience may address the board on any topic regardless of whether it is listed on the agenda. Due to Brown Act regulations, the board cannot engage in public discussion on items not on the agenda. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes unless the time limit is waived by a majority of the board, and we will limit the total time for input on each item to 20 minutes. I have no advanced written requests. Do we have any comments or questions on agenda items? How about district matters not on the agenda? All right, so that brings us to communications. First up is RBTA.
Good evening, I'm Monica Joyce, I'm president of RBTA. Tonight you'll be voting on our tentative agreement. As you know, this was something that our members were very passionate about, and we appreciate their voices in this matter. One of the biggest items that faced us this bargaining season was the cost of health care. So that will continue to be something that we're really focused on, and being able to provide the best health care for our members that we can afford. I'd like to thank Dr. Wesley. It was a pleasure working with you and your team, and especially when it came to when some of the language needed to be clarified about substitutions, that you were right on it in developing that MOU, so we really appreciate that. Also, for those of you who have not replied, I put the invitation to our CTA School Board Dinner, which will be on December 2nd. We hope that you can make it. It's a time where we can sit together and talk. And there will be other school board members from across Los Angeles County. And I know it's beginning to be that busy time of the year, but if you can make it, we'd truly appreciate it. Thanks to Mike and Raymer for already replying. We appreciate that. Thank you.
CSEA.
President Waller, members of the board, Dr. Keller, members of the cabinet, good evening. Kenny Pearson, CSEA, Redondo Beach Chapter President. I would like to inform the board that we had a ratification meeting that took place for a vote to the collective bargaining agreement for the 2019-2020 school year, and we had 100% of our members vote yes to the agreement. They were very, very appreciative and thankful for the COLA, and also for the district's picking up the health and welfare benefits increase. That was, again, a big concern for our members, too. So we do want to say that we continue to fight the cost of inflation, and going forward, the hopes is that the board and the superintendent need to place the COLA to our bargaining unions as part of their top priority. You know, CSEA, we make the least in the district, so the inflation affects us the most. And I hear it all the time from our members. So anything going toward the COLA, we definitely appreciate. And thank you, Dr. Wesley, for negotiating with us. We appreciate your effort and the timeliness of our negotiations. So thank you very much.
I don't see AFT here. If anybody did want to speak to them, okay, then PTA.
Hello, I'm Sandy Krager-Foley. I'm president of Redondo Beach Council PTA. First of all, I want to thank everybody for their community membership. Thank you for that. And I also want to thank you for coming out to support the car show, which is a fabulous community event, which happened on Saturday. Thank you. Brad was there and a couple of others. And then I would like to invite you to another fabulous community event coming up on November 16th at Adams Middle School. We'll be having our 6th annual Fall Fitness Festival, which is a free festival. It's free to everyone in the community to come. There's games, there's free fitness classes, there'll be samplings of food and healthy juices. The Beach Cities Health District blender bike will be there. So it's going to be a really fun day for the whole family. So please bring your kids, bring everybody. I brought a few flyers. This is like bread at the Cheesecake Factory. I don't have enough for everyone, so I will send them around. And I hope to see you on the 16th.
So what will be in the blender bike?
So, okay, so this is fun. The Beach Cities Health District packs these little things of fruit and ice, and then they put it in the blender, and then the kids get on the bike, or adults can ride the bike too. But the power of the bike is what makes the blender go, and then you get a smoothie at the end of it. So
Not quite the same as like the ones they had at Beach Life.
Oh, no, not like that, no. Unless you see me separately. No, I'm just kidding.
Not on campus. And finally, Redondo Beach Education Foundation.
It's funny, I'm going. Good evening to the member of the school board, Dr. Keller, and the cabinet. My name is Han Archer. I'm the Redondo Beach Education Foundation president. As you know, RBF has been very busy these last couple of months. We're wrapping up our Investor Drive Blitz campaign, and up to date, we have already raised over $624,000. As this is an annual appeal, you will continue to see us messaging our family committees to make their investment throughout the rest of the school year. But right now, we are just in the middle of Skechers Walk. As Dr. Keller mentioned, we are in the lead. We currently have about 2,115 registered walkers already. And last year, this time, we were at 1,500 walkers. So I invite all of you to register if you have already not done so. And if you are inclined to not come out and join us on Sunday, it's such a fun event. But if you'd like to stay in your pajamas and have your cup of coffee, please register as a virtual walker, because those dollars do count for us. And then lastly, we do have our annual golf tournament, the Community Classic, coming on November 4th up at Los Verdes. Personal invitation to each of the board members to join us for the reception. So if you're not a golfer and you won't be golfing with us during the day, at least come join us for the reception about 4:30 at Los Verdes. And then, of course, the reason I am here with several of my fellow board members and the staff is we are very pleased this year to present to the Redondo Beach Unified School District a check in the amount of $1,125,000. This check is the collective effort of our district families, our community, our business partners, our sponsors, obviously our administrators, the leadership team here, helping us get to this wonderful amount. We hope to continue building and growing, and so thank you. And then a note of thanks to this school board and the school board in the previous years, and the leadership team and the principal and the administrators. You've built a community of parents who have come into our district who believe in public education and quality public education, and they're making this happen with us. So thank you so much, and I know that as you guys continue to do the good work, we'll do our job on this end. Thank you. Can we get a picture with you?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And just for the record, Janet is actually holding the real check.
Okay.
So if it goes missing, I'm letting you know Janet has it.
Way to go, Gloria. It wouldn't be, I mean, it's still just stay a natural.
Fun meeting so far.
Mr. Waller, I think it's worth noting, I'm pretty sure that's the largest check RBEF has ever presented to the district in the
Yes.
history of, so thank you very much.
Last year was,
RBEF, thank you to the parents and everyone that did that too.
so it's what, 115,000 higher than last year. 'Cause it was 1,011,000 or 1,010,000, I don't remember.
111.
111, okay.
We'll take that back to the thousand.
So 114 more than last year. All right, that is the end of communications. That brings us to our consent calendar. Does anybody wish to pull any of the 18 items? 16? Oh, okay. We got a lot of things on the agenda. So, hearing none, that means that we can have a motion for the consent calendar 10.1 through 10.18.
I'd move.
Student advisory vote?
Aye.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? So that is unanimous. And brings us to action items. 12.1, approve bid award to South Bay Heating and Air Conditioning Incorporated per attached for installation of HVAC upgrades to Alta Vista Elementary School and Jefferson CDC.
Second.
We're bringing forward an item for you that relates to replacement HVAC systems. These are not new installations, so it's separate from the installations we did before. And it has to do with the CDC buildings at both Alta Vista and Jefferson.
And these are external, old-school units?
Yes.
That have been around for 8 years or 10 years?
Oh, yes, many
or-
years.
Student advisory vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous. 12.2, approve purchase of and installation of basketball poles at Adams Middle School from Dave Bang Associates. Piggyback bid 18-02 issued by Colton Joint Unified School District dated June 20th, 2017, and board approved May 28th, 2019 for purchase with Dave Bang Associates.
Second.
How many poles is this?
Pardon?
How many poles you recall?
4. There are 4 poles that are being replaced at Adams. And it's the result of what took place at Paris. And then the next item is actually 12.3, which addresses the poles that had the incident at Paris. And that's what drove us to start looking at all of our exterior basketball poles. And we immediately were able to identify poles at Adams as well as Paris that needed to be replaced. So we're recommending immediate replacement of exterior poles at both those sites. We did bring in a professional that came back through and will be in the process of evaluating our other exterior poles at the elementary sites.
Student advisory vote?
Aye.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous. And while we appreciate the audience, you guys don't have to stay for the whole meeting if you don't want to. 12.3, approve purchase and installation of basketball poles at Paris Middle School from Dave Bang Associates as above.
Second.
Any questions? It's like,
No
same, we already have the
Same item.
description.
Same
So,
type.
Student advisory vote?
Aye.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous.
And just one suggestion, Janet, maybe you want to let the city know what we found, because there are city facilities that have very similar poles of the same age. I think I'd feel
Okay.
bad if any kids or adults were playing at one of the park facilities and had the same thing happen,
Sure.
knowing what we know now.
Yeah, thank you.
12.4, approve memorandum of understanding between RBUSD and Beach City Cycling Club for the 2019-20 school year.
So moved.
That's me.
That's you. That's like,
This MOU is a formalization of the partnership that we've had with the Beach City Cycling Club for the last 3 years. And it really just describes the responsibilities of both the school district and what the cycling club offers to our students around school safety and bike safety, as well as pedestrian safety, both at school and in the community. Students who participate, if they bring their bike to school, they can also participate on the bike skills course that's laid out on the campus. And this is just a formalization of our agreement.
is there anything in the agreement about storage of equipment or anything like that on any of the school sites?
No.
Okay, because I know they were asking about that previously.
No.
Did we have a space for I don't know if it was a container or a truck or something? Okay. Any other questions? Student advisory vote.
Aye.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous. 12.5, the MOU between RBUSD and Journey Home for the 2019-20 school year.
So moved.
Again, this is formalizing a relationship with an organization. It's a very narrow scope. I provide this information to the board in my Friday update, but it is working with guest speakers and providing mentorship and support groups to our less than dozen students at the Redondo Beach Learning Academy. And it is for the 19-20 school year only.
Student advisory vote or Did you have a question? Okay, it looks like you were about to ask something.
Aye.
All else in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous. 12.6, expulsion of student E:19-20:01.
Second.
I don't think we have any discussion on that. This was a closed session item. No student advisory vote either. So all members in favor of 12.6 say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous. 12.7, collective bargaining agreement with Redondo Beach Teachers Association.
Moved.
That's me. I just wanted to say, if you don't mind, before we begin approving all the TAs, I did want to thank our union leadership. 2 of our union presidents are here this evening for the fruitful and productive negotiation sessions. I particularly appreciated their soft on the person, aka lead negotiator, hard on the problem approach, given it was my rookie year. So thank you for that. And thank you, board members, for your support through the process. The first one, 12.7, is the tentative agreement that was reached with RBTA, and as you heard tonight, RBTA did confirm ratification with its union membership, and so staff recommends that the board adopts this tentative agreement.
Does a student vote on this one? I didn't think so. Okay, so all in favor of 12.7, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? None. That is unanimous. 12.8, this is the collective bargaining memorandum of understanding agreement revision with Redondo Beach Teachers Association.
So moved.
This is an MOU that stems from negotiations. After signing the tentative agreement, it was discovered that a revision did need to be made for one of the articles, particularly Article 4.8.1, that discusses substitute coverage for elementary teachers when a sub is not available. So staff is recommending that you agree to this language that was not captured in the tentative agreement.
Any questions? So student does not vote on this one either, so all in favor of 12.8, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous then. 12.9, collective bargaining agreement with California School Employees Association.
So moved.
Yes, this is our tentative agreement reached with CSEA. CSEA has confirmed ratification with its union membership, and staff is recommending that you approve the negotiated agreement made with CSEA.
All right, again, no student, so all in, or any questions? I'm gonna preempt people. All in favor of 12.9, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous. 12.10, collective bargaining agreement with Early Childhood Federation, AFT Local 1475 AFL-CIO.
So moved.
And last but not least, this is the tentative agreement that was reached with AFT. AFT has also confirmed ratification with its union membership, and so staff is recommending that the board adopt the tentative agreement negotiated with AFT.
I thought it was David. All right, no student on this one, so all members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous. 12.11, approve the recommendation for non-represented employees, including management, supervisory, confidential, adult education, independent study, and noon supervisors.
Second.
Yes, this action item has to do with compensation and health and welfare for non-represented employees. And staff is recommending the board approves the same salary increase, off-schedule payment, and health and welfare benefit coverage that were agreed upon with our 3 unions.
And I think this is the last non-student vote, so all in favor of 12.11, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous. 12.12, approving the new job description and salary schedule for the aquatics lifeguard.
So moved.
The next two are actually related, 12.12 and 12.13. We currently have one job description for lifeguard / swim instructor. And so we are recommending that we create two job descriptions from, instead of just having one, because it'll allow us to hire simply lifeguards. And also, so that's what this is, 12.12. So it'll allow us just to hire lifeguards. And then it also will allow us to hire swim instructors who can also serve as lifeguards. So it gives us that flexibility to do both. So we are recommending that the first one be approved by the board at this time.
Student
A question before you get that, the license and quals are American Red Cross, lifeguard, CPR, first aid. Could it be other, is there discretion within this description to go with other certifying agencies on the CPR and first aid, or must it be American Red Cross?
I'd have to look into that. I would think if it's comparable, but I don't want to say for sure.
I would think that it would be comparable if they're, and give you the discretion to make that comparable.
I would think so too. I know that when we wrote these job descriptions, we did update the qualifications.
The way I interpret this is American Red Cross lifeguard, comma, and then a CPR and first aid from, not necessarily American Red Cross. That's the way I interpret this.
Okay, let me put something in my.
Gives you a little bit of discretion on that.
Is that
Let me
an
look at it and
editorial
confirm.
fix, or
That's,
would they need
That's
to
the way
bring
I
back
read it
with
anyway.
yeah, let me answer that definitively in my Friday
Yeah, I
update.
don't want to hold this up, let
Right.
it go forward, but that's the way I interpret it.
Yeah.
Will you be editing the actual job description as presented, or is it gonna go as presented?
I think it should be approved as presented.
And if it was adding a comma specifically and looking for that one line, would that be considered editorial that wouldn't need reapproval, or is it literal?
Unless you're changing the wording.
Yeah.
If it's just grammatical and.
All right, then student advisory vote?
Aye.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous. Which brings us to 12.13, the second half of this, approve the new job description and salary schedule for the swim instructor / lifeguard.
Second.
So this one is related to the first one. And this one allows us to hire a swim instructor first, who also has the ability to serve as a lifeguard.
And it's got the same description, I believe, so if there was a change, it would be the same if there's a comma or anything.
That's correct, under licenses and other requirements.
So, with that, student advisory vote?
Aye.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous. 12.14, approve the new job description and salary schedule for the theater technician.
So moved.
Yes, this job description stems from the fact that we've always hired students to assist the the technical theater manager. And oftentimes when the students graduate, they continue on to assist with productions. So we created this job description because we believe at the point of graduation, these are no longer our students and they are adults. And we believe it's more appropriate to officially hire them. So we created a job description that outlines their role. It also allows us to fingerprint them and fulfill all of the other requirements for new hires. And so the salary is paid from outside organization rental fees. So we're recommending that the board approve this job description.
Previously, or currently for this,
Yeah.
the graduated students were continuing to work. Is their salary being paid by those outside organizations, or is their salary being paid by us? Or
Oh, they're still,
compensated?
it's the same. They're being paid by their rental fees.
Okay.
And just out of curiosity, what determines what end of the salary scale range is applied?
What was that?
What determines which end of the salary scale applies on that?
When we determine the salary schedule, we look at how much experience they've had. So if they have experience comparable to what this position is, then we go by the number of years, would be corresponding to the steps.
Okay.
So you could have somebody who spent 2 years as a student or 3 years as a student.
Correct. Then they would
graduates,
come in on
and
the
they would come
second
in
or third.
higher up than
Mm.
just new hire.
Yes.
That's good. All right. Any other questions? Student advisory vote.
Aye.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous. 12.15, approve the RBUSD school calendar for the 2021, or 2020-2021 school year. That's hard to say.
Moved.
Second.
This is our negotiated calendar for the 2021 school year. And you will note that it is very similar to our current school calendar with a start time the third week in August, and we end the year the second week in June. And so we are recommending that the board approves this calendar. And so we can post it on the website and let the public know.
That'll be helpful, because I keep getting questions.
Yes, we do too.
Student advisory vote.
Aye.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous. 12.16, approve and adopt resolution R:19-20:10 regarding the Southern California Regional Occupational Center Career Technical Education Incentive Grant.
Moved.
Second.
And that's you, Ed.
My understanding is the other member districts have either approved this, their boards have, or will be, depending on the date of their board meeting in the month of October.
And I think, as I had mentioned earlier, this will help convince, hopefully, the state to give us maybe a little extra in the CTIG grant this coming year to make up for the loss in CTIG funding last year.
And I know that there was a time issue. We're trying to get it done this month. So is this because the grants are being considered starting next month?
Yes, we're in that period of time that grants are being requested. It closes first part of the year, and we just wanted to be sure this made it in fairly early in that process. So we're good on timing.
Good.
As long as it gets mailed. And approved.
And goes to the right email address. Okay, student advisory vote.
Aye.
All in favor of 12.16, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? That is unanimous. We can sign that and get it off. I've got no information items. Just
Mike, I'm sorry, on the resolution, should that go to Dr. Rock, or who do you send that to?
That's a good question. Why don't you go ahead and send it to Dr. Hilaire at SoCal Rock, and he'll forward it. We'll be sure it gets to the right place.
No problem. We have receiving for the first reading the following board policies, administrative regulations, and exhibits. Policies are all available for review, and it's a long list. I'm not going to read them all, so I'd probably end up mispronouncing one of them anyhow, since there's so many. Anybody have any comments or edits on those? Any of those?
None at this time.
Policies and regulations? All right. That brings us to correspondence. I've got 2 LACO letters that came to us by email, but I've got them here. One is their review of our unaudited actuals for fiscal year 2018-19, and the other is the AB 1200 disclosure and review of the collective bargaining unit agreements with RBTA, CSEA, and AFT, and the county is happy with us. That brings us to board member reports. And first up is Mr. Whitkin.
None for me.
Mr. Christensen.
Pretty good list of involvements with some back-to-school nights, State of Education, and a really great vaping town hall. And I might mention that this was multiple districts in the South Bay, sponsored by Assemblyman Maritsuchi, and it did get some media coverage that night. And this is really a big deal, and I know we've supported these kind of parent education events, and I'd like to think that we will keep supporting it because this is really affecting us. The percentages of South Bay youth engaged in this activity is top 30%. We had our SoCal Rock board meeting last week. I don't have a whole lot to report to you here. I appreciate the approval of this item that we just approved. But there will be an issue coming forward from school services in November. We should get the revised report. I will want to have some time on an agenda, probably in an early December or our December board meeting, to discuss what is being asked for. And Dr. Keller, you might be prepared for a call that I believe they will want to reconvene the superintendent's group about that same time in December to talk about what school services is suggesting. And then kudos to ShareFest for a great activity the other night. That's it.
All right, Ms. Flynn.
Enjoyed the two legislative events I had in 1 week. It was 33rd District Legislative Conference with Patrick O'Donnell and Al Marisucci, talking specifically about education funding and education bills, and then the PV Chamber of Commerce event with Ben Allen, Al Marisucci, Janice Hahn, and Ted Lieu, which was spirited at some points. So we've had a lot of some interesting, the governor has signed some interesting things into law lately, which I'm sure we'll be talking about more soon, and did appreciate the back-to-school nights.
And Mr. Serkin. All right, let's see. I'll try and go through my list quickly. The Toledo Blue Ribbon Unveiling Ceremony, that happened since our last meeting, so congratulations to Toledo and the staff there for making that school blue ribbon. Back to school nights at RUHS and Dreisler. State of education, lots of good food, good information, entertainments, and congratulations to, of course, Patty Harris-DeLiva for getting the Education Advocate Award. I've got 10 Chamber of Commerce anniversary certificates for our school units. I don't know why we only have 10. It's the high school, it's everything but the high school. So the high school and Dreisler could potentially, I don't know. I asked them why it was only 10, what happened to the high school.
I have no idea.
So I've got these guys again. I attended the Maria Shriver Women's Alzheimer's Movement at the Kensington facility instead of the 33rd District thing. And I've got a really nice goodie bag that is free for anybody to take, whoever wants it. I've got enough of these types of bags, but there's stuff inside still. But that was a very informative night. I did get to briefly shake hands with Maria Shriver, but she was really the moderator of the event and bringing it here as her passion. She had some professionals there that she interviewed and talked about. Biggest issue is women are more impacted by Alzheimer's than men, which is why it's a women's Alzheimer's movement and not just general Alzheimer's. And then let's see. Along with Ms. Flynn, the Ben Allen event on Parkland that was not so interesting, followed by the PV Chamber of Commerce event, which was interesting. Assemblymember Maritsuchi's Vaping Town Hall. I want to really shout out to Anthony, or Dr. Toronto, who really did represent us well. He was really wonderful. I believe there were 6 television stations that were there. Over the whole time, interviewed people. I didn't see any of the coverage myself, but I saw quite a number of stations come in and leave, interview people. I assume there's something or will be something in the high tide on it because one of the high tide reporters was there also interviewing people. RUHS Classic Car Show was a lot of fun, and ShareFest Gala. We need to find out who that employee is that they mentioned on their, they congratulated on their charts that nobody knows who. There was one RBUSD employee that was listed, and it's like, we need to find out what they're doing and if they're getting getting paid or not.
May I interject one thing?
Yes.
Because it was on my list, and I somehow passed it over, and I'm thankful that you mentioned it, Raymer. To make this clear, you know, one of the bills the governor signed was the late start for high school. We absolutely are not doing anything for next school year. This is going to be a slow movement. We have some time before we even move in that direction. But I just want to let you know, make it clear, we're not changing times for next year at this point based on the governor's signing of that bill. And we'll keep the board apprised in this process. I can assure you there's going to be a lot of discussion in the next year with several districts. And we all want to be on the same page, ideally moving at about the same pace in the South Bay and larger LA counties. So just be patient. Thanks for bringing it up.
All right, that then would bring us to calendar of events. November 4th is the Redondo Beach Educational Foundation's Community Classic, which was formerly known as the Mayor's Cup. November 11th is Veterans Day holiday. November 12th is our one Board of Education meeting for the month of November. Thanksgiving break will be the 25th through the 29th, and then our one meeting for December will be on December 10th.
You might note that Friday is the last home game of the season,
Assuming there are no playoffs.
last non-playoff home game of the season.
Future agenda items, I've got a note here about December SoCal Rock discussion on the school services report, and I've got a note here talking about the late start. I don't know whether you want to start that discussion in November or just leave it out for until something we hear more.
School services to give some direction in
Okay.
this process, so I would just say if you can be a little patient, it's on our radar, but I think a lot of us are waiting for some direction from school services, so there's some consistency of message. I certainly don't want to go down this road talking about it when we're ill-equipped to have a formal conversation about it.
And it takes effect mandatory the 2022-2023 school year, which is still a couple calendars away, after three of us are termed out. Any other?
And our high school seniors have graduated.
Yeah. Any other future agenda items people would like to add? All right, then I think I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Student advisory vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Didn't matter because I heard too many people. It is adjourned.